Hey guys, it's me again. I just wanted to jump on and talk to you about Sonnet 30 by Edmund Spenser. Last time I talked to you, we were looking at Sonnet 75. So written by the same guy. I want to go back through and kind of recap the characteristics of a Spenserian sonnet before we annotate this one, just so you remember and you know what to look for. In a Spenserian sonnet, it is divided up into 3 quatrains and a couplet. Remember, a quatrain has 4 lines where a couplet has 2. Okay, so it all equals up to 14 lines, typical of the sonnet form. The rhyme scheme, again, very, very important to remember with Spenserian. It does differ from Shakespearean in the fact that it goes A, B, A, B, B, C, B, C, C, D, C, D, E, E. Okay, so that is the rhyme scheme. And then finally, voltas, remember to be careful with those because they do not lie in line 9, where you might see the words but or yet. Instead, they actually are found in that first line of the couplet, so line 13. Okay, so just rehashing that, and then now I'm going to go ahead and read Sonnet 30 to you. So it says this: My love is like to ice, and I to fire. How comes it then that this her cold so great is not dissolved through my so hot desire, but harder grows the more I her entreat, which entreat, the bottom means to plead with. So the more I plead with her, the harder she gets. Okay, it says, how comes it that my exceeding heat is not delayed by her heart frozen cold, but that I burn much more in boiling sweat and feel my flames augmented manifold. Manifold down the bottom, so actually his flames greatly increase. What more miraculous thing may be told that fire, which all things melt, should harden ice? And ice, which is congealed, so which is solidified with senseless cold, should kindle fire by wonderful device. Such is the power of love in gentle mind, that it can alter all the course of kind. It can alter all of nature. Okay, so let's go back through our same routine where we identify the structure. Here you can see that it's divided up into quatrains. There are 3 of them, so 4 lines each. Remember to jot that down at least on around one of the quatrains so you know. So I'm going to do that, show you in a minute here. Quatrain. I did this before where I put a number 3 next to it. So quatrains, right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Okay. At the very bottom, does it possess a couplet? Yes, it does. If you look at it says, such is the power of love and gentle mind that it can alter all the course of kind. So 2 lines there, making a little note, writing couplet there, and we should be good to go. So the 2 lines right here. All right, so the other thing that we look for would be the rhyme scheme before we get into the meaning of the poem. Read the last words out loud to you and just verify that it does have that rhyme scheme of the Spenserian sonnet. So it says this: fire, so great, desire, entreat. Some of these are going to be near rhymes, okay? Heat, cold, sweat, manifold. Told, ice, cold, device. Mind, kind. Okay, so it does follow the Spenserian sonnet structure. I know it's kind of hard for us to wrap our minds around that near rhyme situation, but it does work. So I am going to go ahead and jot down that rhyme scheme here. Fire is an A, letter A on the first line of the sonnet. Great does not rhyme with fire, so I put a letter B down. You can see that right here. And then desire rhymes with fire, so I'm putting an A. And then B for entreat, so great, entreat. Maybe entreat is how they would have read it. I don't know. So anyway, there we go. A, B, A, B. Now looking at the second quatrain, it says heat, cold, sweat, manifold. Heat would rhyme with entreat, so we're going to put a B there. And then cold does not rhyme with anything that we've had prior to this, so it would be BC, BC. So cold, sweat, and heat would go together technically, and then manifold would rhyme with cold, so there's where you have the C. So I'm going to show you that again. That's what it would look like in the second quatrain. All right. Third quatrain says told, ice, cold, device. So told would rhyme with something in the previous quatrain. We can see that we assigned that a letter C, so we're going to go ahead and write down C next to the word told. And then it would be D, the letter D for ice, because it doesn't rhyme with anything prior to this. C for the next line, and then D for the final line of that quatrain. So we're on the third one right here, guys. C, D, C, D. And then we conclude with the rhyme scheme of the couplet. So mine doesn't rhyme with anything else, so we put an E there, and the same thing for kind. Very, very easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right there. Okay, so we've done all the structure stuff. Let's go into what the poem is telling us. As a reader, going by quatrain like I have done with the last one. So it said, my love is like to ice and I to fire. How comes it then that this her cold so great is not dissolved through my so hot desire, but harder grows the more I her entreat? Okay, so let's look at this quatrain. We know that it obviously starts off with a simile, so there is a comparison being made here. As you can probably tell, he's comparing his love is like to ice and his woman's is like to ice and his love is like fire. Okay, so she is ice, he is fire. Okay, and then it says, how comes it then that this her cold so gray is not dissolved through my so hot desire? So he's saying he's kind of confused a little bit. He's because he can't understand how when his love is so hot that he wouldn't melt someone whose heart is cold. Okay, we have a paradox here. It seems like it doesn't make sense, but it upon further examination it does. So here he says that, actually the more I love her, the more I care for her and I show her how much I care for her, she grows colder and colder. Her heart grows harder and harder. So she's not melting with his charms, she's not falling for it. It's the exact opposite. So there's the paradox, okay? You would think that normally fire would melt ice, but it's doing the opposite. Okay, I know I repeated myself there, sorry. Okay, so looking at the next quatrain, he goes on to talk about this. He says, or how comes it that my exceeding heat is not delayed by her heart frozen cold, but that I burn much more in boiling sweat and feel my flames augmented manifold. So, the first part he was talking about being puzzled that he can't melt her cold heart. And then the second quatrain, he's puzzled because you would think that the cold heart would extinguish his flames, okay? Extinguish how he feels about her. Because over time, when you pursue someone, you love them, you try to show them how, that you care for them, and they're not reciprocating, usually it kind of fizzles out for you, or you'd think it would, that they would stop maybe feeling that way after their feelings aren't being reciprocated. But in fact, that's not what's happening with this guy. So the colder she is, the hotter he gets. The more he wants to chase her, the more he wants her. I think this could probably apply to our world today. People want what they can't get. In fact, that they want it even more because they can't get it. So I think that's kind of the thing here. He recognizes this. Okay, so there's that conversation I think he's having with himself about his feelings. Okay, so third quatrain, it says, what more miraculous thing may be told that fire, which all things melt, could harden ice, and ice, which is congealed with senseless cold, should kindle fire by wonderful device. So, he's just kind of saying how miraculous it is that, what typically happens in nature is not followed here when it comes to feelings. Okay, it's a whole different realm. Okay, feelings are anyway. So he's just amazed at it, that, his love has an adverse effect on her. Okay, and then finally we get to the couplet where it says, such is the power of love and gentle mind that it can alter all the course of kind. So this is where you see the Volta. If you read it out loud and you're kind of looking at this poem that's in front of you, he does change it up here. Okay, he makes kind of like a final comment about the whole entire business. And in this case, he's saying that love is such a confusing, miraculous, unique thing that it can do things that people can't understand. It can create miracles. Okay, I don't know, I'm reminded of the Notebook here a little bit. Do you think our love has the power to create miracles? I think in this case that guy agrees, the speaker of the poem, because he says that love has the power to change nature, to not follow the norm. Okay, so anyway, that's what he's saying. That's the power of love for you there. Anyway, hope it helps you. If you have any questions, email me and I will be sure to kind of get back to you and tell you, you know, what you need to know. Okay, see you later.